Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. So first of all, this video is going to be a lot of what ifs, a lot of just conversational topics because I read this book lately called The Lost Daughter by Lucy Ferris. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Lately, I've been getting into the actual physical books because one, I found a lot the other day, and two, definitely just I miss the smell of actual books. I don't know. Let me know if I'm the only person, but sometimes the smell of an actual book really puts me in the mood and it gets me and it's easy to transport around with you too. When I had my trip to Florida recently in the past videos, I carried it with me. There's just something about the niceness of a book sometimes. I don't downplay a good ebook or anything too, because I do like reading an ebook on my phone, and that's also of course easier. Definitely, I had a huge conversation with a friend and my sisters about audiobooks. So audiobooks are also really good. They're just not for me. I think that personally, I get distracted with audiobooks because I'm listening to it, and most of the time when I'm listening to something like music, when I'm listening to music and stuff like that, I am doing other things and just bopping with it. So I get I get pretty distracted with audiobooks, but I know it's a huge thing with people who travel too, just to put in their ear and just hear their stories. And I guess a book is a book, so whether you're listening to it, reading it, you have the physical copy, whatever, a book is a book. But anyways, back to this, The Lost Daughter. So already this cover is really good. So whoever designed this, I mean, it's nice, and it's a pretty picture, and it drew me in. I'm not gonna lie, I get drawn in easily by book covers as well. Not just the titles. If it's a good book cover, you're an artist, whoever the artist was, shout out to those artists, those book covers basically, because sometimes those are the only things that really draw me in. I won't even know the title and I'll just be like, oh my gosh, let me look at that book because it looks really creative. So good for you. And this one's nice. So this book is drama, definitely family oriented, and secrecy for sure. Guilt, like I said, secrecy, and family. Yeah, it's drama. It is a little bit of drama. But a lot of the scenarios were, for me, I was if you watch any of my other book reviews or book talks, I definitely talk about how I love books that are relatable, and I tend to put myself in those footsteps of the main character. And this one definitely made me think about it. So, Brooke, the main character, she's kind. She's a wife, and she has a daughter. And when she was younger, she had. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. It's so hard because it's so when she was younger, they fast forward. There's a lot of past tense stuff happening. So if you don't like the past tense, then forward, then I wouldn't recommend this. But it's not too crazy. It's just because it has to tell you the backstory of how or what is going on. And so she's Brooke, the main character. She's young. She is definitely, I want to say her flashback is definitely in her teens. She's in love with her high school sweetheart, and she, in her words, accidentally gets pregnant. So here's the thing. She gets pregnant and she ends up seeing this, I I don't want to say doctor because she wasn't a doctor, but like she ended up seeing this lady who made like remedies to get rid of children, which was really interesting because I was like, I mean, mind you, I'm just reading a book and a fictional book, so it could be false and none of that could be true. So, you know, all of that. But so yeah, in the book though, there is a remedy to get rid of children. So she takes this remedy and it's like obviously a process thing. So she takes it within like a certain time, and it's like all of these like really interesting ingredients that they describe in the book. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, okay, all right, at this point, we need to just, I mean, not everybody's has money to do abortions. But if you really, really, really don't want a child, what's the next move? You know what I mean? Maybe not a quote unquote concoction. It's probably not the right move. But who am I to know? Because I've never been pregnant. So I wouldn't know. But I would assume that I would just try and like get some money to have an abortion if I really, really, really did not want a baby at the time that, you know, I'm not ready, right? So that's first. And then she, even taking this concoction, thinking that it was like gonna kill off the baby and she had nothing to worry about. Of course, she gets pregnant. And she's pregnant and she's with her boyfriend at the time and they're talking and they're trying to figure out like how to tell their family because they were really young. They were in their teens. So they're trying to figure out how to tell their family. And mind you, now she is officially like 9 months pregnant. And she literally is like about to give birth, right? In a hotel room with her boyfriend. So she, you know, gives birth, and I believe it was an early due date, so the baby came out, and it was just like a body, supposedly not breathing, supposedly not alert with anything. He did not survive. So they thought the baby did not survive. So the boyfriend carries the baby and rude throws the baby basically in a garbage can. All right? So now I'm like, throws the baby out. That's it. So that's another what if. Like, if you were in that scenario, what would you do? Would you have the baby and like try to go to the hospital? Or like, I mean, they didn't want a child at the time. They told themselves that they weren't ready for a child and they didn't want any, you know, they just didn't want it. And, you know, everybody's time is everybody's time. Everybody has a different timeline for children. So totally understandable, right? But like, if you do get pregnant, you either have an abortion or you toss them in a garbage can. I don't know. Everybody's different. Clearly, everybody's different. And again, this is just a book and I'm probably overanalyzing everything, but I'm still going to tell you my thoughts because it was just interesting. And it makes you think. It makes you think like, I'm sure somebody in the world has done it before, but like, would you? I would, if I was a young child that was pregnant, I would have no idea what to do. I wouldn't know what to do. I would hope and pray that my parents would help me out. That my family would help me out. That the baby daddy would help me out. Yeah. I don't think personally, so this is all my opinion. I don't think I would be able to go through with an abortion. Um, Although I do say, when it's time to have a child, it's time to have a child. Um, I think babies come into your life for a reason, you know? And if you're ready, you're ready, And sometimes people aren't ready, and things happen. Some people aren't ready. But um in that circumstance, it's hard. I guess maybe better said than done, you know? Maybe? I don't know. Opinions. Let me know your opinions about that. So, yes. So, later on, somebody finds the baby, the lost daughter. Someone finds the baby, and she is definitely, she's breathing, but like barely. And they take her to the hospital, and she has a lot of disabilities. She has a lot of disabilities because she was born early, and kind of just left for dead for a minute. So there are going to be some possibilities of disabilities, and in the book there is. So, but there was a family that found her and raised her basically all by themselves, and went through all the doctor's appointments, went through all the school disabilities, everything that they could possibly do to help her out and really make sure she has a good life. And she, appreciates it, of course. She has a talking disorder, so she stutters, and she's in a wheelchair, but she's like the smartest little girl ever in this book. She grows up, and that's that. The father now, who is Brooke's ex-boyfriend or young sweetheart, he has so much guilt in him, and he has no idea, neither does Brooke, obviously halfway through, has no idea that their child survived the whole thing of them just having her, and I hate to say it, but tossing her. So Brooke and her high school sweetheart go on a lot of endeavors just to figure out and find the lost daughter. So definitely, if I haven't ruined enough for you, I still think you should go read it, because it's a really good book, and I think it's, like I said, a lot of what ifs, what ifs about pregnancy, about giving birth, about it's just so interesting because I'm not a mother, and so when I see mothers and I hear mothers' stories, I am really intrigued just to hear some people who have been mothers when they were at such a young age, and they had no idea what to do. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to get through anything, or how to even tell their families, or how to raise a child at such a young age, especially when you are a child, so I'm curious. And this video is not to shame any mothers who have gone through their situations, not to shame them, but to really understand them. And really, I'm personally just intrigued to know how everybody's, if you're a mother out there and you're watching this, I want to know your story. I want to hear your story. And see what a beautiful child you raised at such a young age, because I give a lot of young mothers, or mothers in general, I give them props for having a child at different ages. Some people have a child when they're in their teens, so I'm like, I give you props, I give them all the utmost props to having that child. And then also there's women who are over a certain age and they have they have a child. And the experience of motherhood, I am so intrigued to talk about and understand, and really just this book had me thinking about a lot. And for me, when it's my time, it is my time. So I'll embrace it when I get there. And in the meantime, I just want to hear different people's opinions about that, about the what ifs of motherhood. So thanks for watching this little snippet. Go read this book if you're interested in motherhood, or even, you know, just figuring out her story. I have it upside down. Wow. I had it upside down this whole time. Well, I had it upside down this whole time. But this is how it is originally, guys. That is so sad, and I might have to redo this. But yes.